just happened. Apparently, my stream just stopped randomly, and I don't know if I hit a button, I hit something wrong, I don't know. All I know is that it stopped, and I hadn't realized it, and I kept progressing, so I just went back to my Twitch, I saw where it ended. I'm gonna go ahead and try to give a quick recap from between that and here, just for continuation purposes, obviously. So, I ended up pressing Lestrade on her third thing, and suddenly McGilded did one of those, like, ellipses where you gotta move over to him and then press him. Which, by the way, was frustrating, because I had pressed her originally on her third comment, and he didn't do that the first time. So I don't know if it's a game mechanic where I have to continuously press on something until the other guy gets uncomfortable enough to talk. And what we essentially learned from that was that she was the first one into the omnibus, and then she saw McGilded get on the omnibus, and then all she heard after that was just McGilded snoring, which was really suspicious, because if all she heard was snoring, how did she not hear the victim get on the omnibus? So essentially, there was a giant loophole in her testimony, and most of the jury started to vote guilty because they thought she was lying. But if we assume that she's telling the truth, then that body had to have gotten onto the omnibus in some other way. So that's the case up to this point. This was obviously my only save, so I just loaded this up. So I know what I'm going to be doing for the next little bit. I know the answers. But let's go ahead and resume, because I'm a little frustrated that the stream stopped, but I want to continue recording because I want to put this up, you know? So anyway, there's only one other way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. And just so you know, I originally picked he was put there after he died, but if that was true, Lestrade would have heard him get on, would have heard someone put him on, because she saw him, McGilded, putting him onto the seat, if that makes sense. Anyway, so it wasn't that he was in there already, it wasn't that he was put there after he died, it had to be there's another entrance. So that was an annoying pause, and I apologize, but let's go ahead and get back to where I was. If the door wasn't opened even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way. I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door, the other has only windows. Fixed windows which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door. But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes, one other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin. Alright, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the corpse. Here is the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim entered the cabin? So originally, when I first did this, like 2 minutes ago, I examined the cabin again, or examined the omnibus again, and when I went to the roof, I noticed that the skylight had a latch on it. So the skylight was actually able to be opened, which happens to be our answer. It would explain the loud thud. The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight. I say, the skylight?
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass
Objection!
through. So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addle-brained theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimonies. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor. Yes, which has already been explained, as the sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger. Yes, it has, but would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let on an involuntary cry, in fact? Good gracious. Perhaps, in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin? That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Oh my goodness, surely not. Those two chaps on the roof? You mean the ones who stuck that knife in the man were... Oh. Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer? You rotter, he said. You rotter! What are you insinuating? Again, not sure why this guy is riding like a horse. I've seen this before. I commented on it while my stream was off, unfortunately, but I still don't get what exactly he's doing right here. It sounds like horses. It looks like some weird boxing. This is a flaming outrage. I've a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute. He'll give you a shiner in a minute, he said, and so will I. Mr. Fairplay, you're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and well-respected banker, and me, a very angry hatter. Again, Mad Hatter. Great joke. Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts? It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's... I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms. That's right, I protest too, about you, you rotten scoundrel. Order, order, order! This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous. It's very hurtful, you know. My lord, if I may comment... Go ahead, Lord Benzeeks. It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accuse? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars. You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know it was rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought. What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify. I thought there was something fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another. If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once. What's happening, Mr. Naruto? The spectators in the public gallery they're in a complete frenzy. Mr. Flareplay and Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord. I didn't come here for this. That guy's fishy as fuck. There's no time to think this through. That's what I say before I do a lot of stuff, I'm gonna be honest. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Oh, keeping pushing forward. I forgot there was a typo there. Alright. I'm almost to the point where I left off. I left off at the cross-examination of these two, so I didn't get too far, obviously, but it was unfortunate I got further at all without my stream on. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive, I can swear to that. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed? In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? I must say that on listening to this testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine. How either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck, without the other noticing forthwith. That's right, you see. We're innocent, I tell you. Although logically, of course, the argument falls down to if the two of you were in collusion with one another. What? Eh. According to investigations by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses shared no common dealings. Ha! Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich. Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy? Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please. Oh, yes, my lord. Alright. Back to where I left off when I realized my stream had failed me. Okay. So, apologies again. I don't know. I feel stupid. I should have noticed it sooner, but whatever. We're back. We're here. We're going to get this finished before I go to bed. So, let's go ahead and plow forward, shall we? Refuting the accusation. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that.
Hold it!
Tell me more about that. So at no time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the rooftop deck? Absolutely not. Dickin. No question about it, he said. None at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here. Wait, what? Is this true, Mr. McGilden? Dear me, my lord, at the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately. That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in... Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? Ah. It's all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that. Ah, I saw you with my own eyes! This is going so well. If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus, at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly. Is this some kind of a lark? Is this some kind of a joke, he said? Is that what this is? Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly? Are you fair dinkum, sir? Oh god, that fucking phrase again. Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you. I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again. That's extreme. It was extreme, I tell you, and we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked. I'm dreadfully sorry about that young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies and I didn't hear you at all. That's a lie! I saw you through the glass! You were talking to someone! No, no. 'Twas a cold night, so it was. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising. Seeing things, seeing things! I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point. Ugh, you... Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then 'tis only fair that you and the other fiend are here too. Open and free competition is what capitalist society is all about. This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really. In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
Hold it!
So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason before? Oh, Lum, no, not once, never. He'd never met the... Oh my god, they both know him. He bought a weird fucking hat from him, and the banker probably needed payments for his house or something. He'd never met the man before, he said. Never! And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either? That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir. No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways can I put this? Neither of us have the
Well, no.
Oh, I'm glad that they put that thing up. Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who are inside the cabin.
Excuse me.
Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel. What can I be doing you for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection? Is that right now, I wonder? What are you insinuating now? Ah, Mr. Fairplay. That's been too long, so it has. Huh? If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date. I beg your pardon? You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir. At an unconscionable rate of interest. You tricked me. It's extortion. Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fellow to pass his crimes off on another? Ah. And young Mr. First. Me, sir? What do you want with me, sir? You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your head, is that one of your own creations, is it? Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand? I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. Perfect fit, is it? Well, 'tis a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers? Such as Thrice-Fired Mason? Ah! There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence of fault, my lord. Oh, this you mean. Can't help thinking that the poor fellow's hat looks distinctly familiar, wouldn't she say? Oh. That's one of my hats. Aye, that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. The sort of customer I'd wagered you could have had a wee quarrel with over the distinctiveness of the goods. Oh no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case. You little weasel. Ugh. He's better at this than I am. Gosh, Mr. McGilded has certainly been through in his research, hasn't he? Thorough, not through. Please, don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings. The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time? going to lose my block with you in a minute. He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said. Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see? It's shut fast now, just like it was on the night. So it is. Of course, your fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it. Still and all. What? Just looking at the size of the ting, you understand? Ah, now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of the ting means nothing. Not on its own. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we? Let's stop biting our cane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind. Loudly. I shocked myself with it as it happened. This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First. Oh, I just meant to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rouge, I did. Are you expecting me to sentence you? Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside that cabin of shame.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry. What did you want to say, Lestrade? Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade. It opens. Hmm? The skylight. That is what we were talking about, right? All them skylights open, dead easy. More easily than you can load that weapon. That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh? Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had purses coming out me ears. Miss Lestrade, this is not the forum to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities. Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't op off the bus and leg it. So what I did was, I used the skylight. I opened the catch and jumped right through. What? Yeah, the catch for them skylights is on the top side. That's why you can't open them from the cabin. The skylight opens from the roof deck? Bailiff! Climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claims. Ta-da! Ah! Oh, my hat! See? Order, order, order! So, it appears that this street girl statement is quite true. I don't believe it, the skylight opens. And from the roof deck. Mr. Naruhodo. This could be the clue we've been looking for. Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination. Yes, my lord. So, the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. Do I have to actually go look at it myself again? I'm gonna say yes. So the skylight was fastened shut before, but now the catch has been undone. We should be able to open it. You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening, that's for sure. Yes, and there's a lamp in there. Oh. Oh, you must have a wonderful view of London. Oh, no. I didn't want to click that. Do I have to go inside to look at it? Apparently. Oh. No, I just needed that. guess. If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where's your proof? Present.
Objection!
Oh, apparently that wasn't the right answer. Even though I know exactly how it is and how I can prove it. Oh my god, this game. I guess I have to press him first, whatever.
Hold it!
Proof. That's right, I demand to hear it. We came here to say what we saw, I tell you, not for this. You call us both shicers, brand us as criminals. You call us liars, that's what he means, and accuse us of doing it. As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves now, is there? I believe we're in much the same position as one another here. Ah! If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth. I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way. Couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilded either. It's so hard to know what to believe here. I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that can truly determine the outcome of a trial. Evidence. No one can argue against decisive evidence, including the members of the jury. So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely. Do I need to go inside and look at it? Yep. Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo. Why someone like me? Ah! What is it? Look, just here. Look at this. That's, without question, it's blood. Why would there be a bloodstain there? Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it? Okay, there we go. That's what I needed to do. Alright, got it.
Objection!
There we go. God, that's annoying. I saw it. It was right there. On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom. What? That's utter humbug. Oh, you can't possibly have any evidence. No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible. Irrefutable proof here in this courtroom? Counsel. My lord, I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here. Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight. Okie dokie, artichoke. It's right. Wait. Oh. Wait, wasn't it on this side? Oh, no, I see. That's facing that way. Okay. Yeah, it's right here. Oh, no, I just did damn it. Whoops. I needed to push another button. Huh. I'm stupid. Yeah, it's blood. I get it. Yeah, without question. It's blood. Oh, why would it be blood? Oh, blood. Blood. Oh my god, maybe someone sneezed. Bloody nose. Why has no one used that as an excuse yet? Oh yeah, I got blood on me because I got a bloody nose.
Got it!
That was a very British got it. By Jupiter, is that blood? Ugh. This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open. What? And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening. Oh my. And so it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No! Order, order, order!
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin. And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight? Sure, that would be very convenient. Let's keep it in mind, the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I? But... There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean. Why don't you have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. First? Tis all too plain, if you see. There's the aftermath that shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there, so it is. What? No. But it can't be. It's all lies.
Hold it!
My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence, can't we? I believe we can, yes, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom. So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they? I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it. Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful part couldn't have done such a thing. On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
Chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, what would you be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks? A bloodstain on the frame of the skylight? Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed.
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. But, are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that the stain of blood was fabricated, my lord? Yes, and while this court has been in session... What? What a palaver. I must say I didn't expect such clear reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But I'm Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Bailey. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt to the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilded's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Lord Van Zeeks, this will not do, to be sure. Will it now, counsel? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood on the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if you will all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? This dude is sketchy as fuck. It's true. The omnibus has been in full view the entire time that court has been in session. My learned friend. Here's to hearing your opinion on this matter, in your own words. As you wish. Could someone have tampered with the omnibus during this trial? If you're asking me, I think. Time to save again, time to save again, time to save again. At this rate, I should probably be making different saves, especially if my stream goes out again, because that was annoying. I will forever be salty about that, but it could have been possible. As a defense lawyer, it's my job to advocate for the defendant as best I can. But still, I feel as though there's something even more important at stake here. There is no evidence to suggest that the defendant did as my learned friend suggests. However, in terms of having the opportunity to carry out the alleged tampering, there is one possibility. Oh? Good gracious. Explain yourself, counsel. Yes, there is. It seems my learned Nipponese friend has no intention of running from this deceit. Deceit? I'm sure everyone still remembers clearly the recess that we were forced to take. As a result of the smoke grenade fired by the witness, currently in the stand, Miss Gina Lestrade. What is going on? Be careful, Mr. Oh, yeah. It's a flashback. Do I really need to read this again? Maybe I should. Secure the omnibus. I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom. The courtroom was filled with smoke, and everyone was thrown into confusion. All of us were made to leave this chamber. In that brief interval, under the veil of smoke and in all the chaos, it could have been possible to steal inside the omnibus. Are you wise? What are you trying to pull, you rotten, feckless gouger? Feckless? Gouger? You're supposed to be defending me. 'Tis a wicked plot. 'Tis a plot to undermine me, so 'tis.
Objection!
Whatever you think this is, it changes nothing. The facts are the same. After this courtroom was evacuated earlier as a result of the smoke grenade, a number of inconsistencies materialized in relation to the omnibus. Inconsistencies such as, to start with, the storage compartment underneath the rear passenger seat. When the police investigated the omnibus, this compartment was full of the driver's items. Secondly, we have the smear of blood on the edge of the skylight. As I have said, that was not present at the start of the trial this morning. Unfortunately, Lord Van Zieks, no one is able to corroborate your claims. That's true. When the omnibus was first wheeled out, both the storage compartment and the skylight were shut. Accordingly, I'm afraid to say we cannot establish with any certainty if this evidence is the result of tampering or not. Indeed, my lord. No doubt there was not a single person who saw fit to verify such things. What do you think? Sorry? About the omnibus. Is there anything else unusual about the omnibus? The bloodstain on the floor. The floor stain. The floor bloodstain. The flame. The flood lore stain. I'm gonna say I have an inkling. My lord. Yes, counsel? There is one further inconsistency. A mark that surely could not have been present at the start of the trial. What? What in the devil's name are you going to say now? If you dare to betray me, you little maggot, you'd better start watching your back.
Objection!
Silence, McGilded. The court awaits the defense's clarification. Grr. This trial keeps swinging one way and then the other. I have no idea what's the truth and what's deception. What am I supposed to believe here? I shall have to ask you to elaborate, counsel. Where exactly is this alleged mark that you claim appeared at some point during the trial? Whee! Oh, I need to push the present button. Oops. Something wrong? No, it's just, well, this bloodstain is so obvious, that's all. And yet, Van Zieks has made no mention of it. I suppose that does seem a little strange. Why do I have such a bad feeling about this?
Got it!
If we consider that the victim fell through the skylight onto the floor of the cabin, you would certainly expect to find signs of blood where he landed. But as far as I recall, this bloodstain on the cabin floor was not there when the omnibus was brought into the courtroom. Good lord. Yes, I do believe you're correct, counsel. Well said. Although, as advocate for the defense, one might say that was a very careless slip of the tongue. I believe that bloodstain on the floor is a decisive piece of evidence. But if the question is whether that evidence is genuine, or whether it was unlawfully fabricated by someone, I feel compelled to admit that there's at least a possibility the evidence is fake. This trial is over. Mr. McGilded? I've done everything I possibly can to cooperate with the court, but 'tis all over now. But you're the defendant. 'Tis over, I tell ye. Memory, recollection, what people think they saw, 'tis all a nonsense. Facts are what counts, and the fact is that bloodstain is there, now. Ah, well. And over the course of this desperate trial, long and extremely drawn out as it has been, the good-for-nothing Reaper of the Bailey has failed to present any decisive evidence at all. I'm scandalized, so I am. I thought better of Lord Van Zieks. Well, my lord, I must concur with the defendant. The unaffirmed recollections of an individual cannot stand as evidence. At this moment in time, the particular bloodstain in question is very much in existence, and in the absence of any credible method by which to prove its alleged previous non-existence, I regret to say that it would be improper for this trial to continue. Your lordship can't be serious. Lord Van Zieks, what is your position? The prosecution, my lord, has no further witnesses or evidence to present. Very well. In that case, as I believe we have explored every possible avenue in this matter, I shall proceed to my adjudication. As a formality, I am, of course, obliged to confirm with the defense first. What formality? As things stand at the moment, it would seem that Mr. McGilded will be found not guilty. Yes, which would mean we've won. Is that really the right outcome here? Is it really alright for the trial to come to an end now with all these unexplained inconsistencies? Counsel for the defense, your closing statement, please. Yes, my lord. The defense believes Oh, God. Oh, God. It's like the end of Phoenix Wright 2. Oh, God. Alright, let's save. Let's save it, save it, save it, save it. Because I'm going to do the same thing I did in Phoenix Wright 2. The defendant could be guilty. I am here in this courtroom today to advocate for the defense of my client, Mr. McGilded. However, at this moment in time, I cannot in all good conscience attest fully to the defendant's innocence. That is ballsy as shit. What are you saying, man? Without any question, there is no conclusive evidence to prove that the defendant is guilty. However, there is also no conclusive evidence to prove that he is innocent. Good gracious me. Order, order! This is unprecedented behavior, counsel. A defense lawyer calling the accused innocence into question? Are you of sound mind? Oh, 'twas a grand decision to appoint you as my lawyer. So it was a grand decision. What? I must say, I didn't expect quite such an exciting spectacle at the end there, but still. Here, have this for your troubles. Ah! Your job here is done, fella, and some fine work you've done, so you have. What do you mean? 'Tis just as the right honourable gentleman so succinctly put it afore. The trial can't go on anymore. And your closing statement there was, how did he put it now? Nothing more than a formality. I really don't know what to make of all this. Was the evidence we've seen genuine, or was it fake? His lordship would be fuming, any unsightly rubbish should be disposed of promptly, as I said. The stinking rich are always guilty of something. You mark my words. I feel terribly ashamed that I ever doubted that lovely man who gave us the lovely part. Now that proceedings have unfolded in this way, I am compelled to declare a premature end to this trial. Furthermore, the court must accept the defendant's plea. I thank you kindly, my lord. I hereby pronounce the verdict of this court.
Objection!
But we still haven't determined if the bloodstain in the omnibus is genuine or not. We don't know if these witnesses are telling the truth or a pack of lies. We have no idea about the truth. Lord Van Zieks. My lord, the case made by the prosecution was flawed, plain and simple. If indeed the omnibus presented as evidence was tampered with, the prosecution is at fault for allowing such a disgraceful perversion of justice to take place. My sincerest apologies, my lord.
Objection!
But, wait! When we were evacuated from the courtroom, Lord Van Zieks ordered the evidence to be secured. I'm afraid the prosecution cannot shun responsibility in this matter. That's so unfair. The culpability of the defendant has not, at the present time, been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. What? Well, Lord Van Zieks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Do you mean to tell me this has all been a grand waste of time? 'Tis the law of the land, my good man. If you'd like to pursue this matter further, you can always go ahead and try to change the law. Magnus McGilded. Good grief. You've more to say to me, have ye? Just one thing. A warning. This is far from over. Well, something to be looking forward to then. I hereby pronounce the defendant, Mr. Magnus McGilded. They had confetti back then? And fireworks? No, I guess fireworks have been around for a long time, haven't they? Well, that was a weird ending. I can't believe it. This is an outrage. They should have examined the evidence more. What are you talking about? The man's been cleared. He's innocent. With the courtroom in pandemonium for the second time that day, the judge delivered his verdict. And my first ever trial in Great Britain came to an abrupt end, with the defendant being found not guilty, ostensibly a victory for us. February, 5:14 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. That certainly was a long trial. Ah, yes it was. Your first ever trial on foreign soil and your first victory. It was a wonderful performance. My heartfelt congratulations. And to you, Miss Susato, thank you for your assistance. I suppose we should be happy. The trouble is, we're still completely in the dark about what actually happened. Well, we didn't have enough time. But isn't it wrong? I mean, who was actually responsible for Mr. Mason's death? We don't even know that. The sole aim of the defense is to obtain a verdict that exonerates the defendant. You carried out your duty to perfection. Aye, that you did. Mr. McGilded. And that girl is with him too. Well, it seems the stories are true. Oh? What stories? About the 6 enormous fireworks they do be letting off when there's a verdict of not guilty. I'm sure you must have seen them now. Spectacular, wouldn't you say? Yes, definitely. I'd heard it was a sight to behold, and to be sure it was. And I've you to thank, I suppose, for having an opportunity to see it. Ha 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 ha. Oh, I don't know about that. I'm not sure I really did anything. What on earth are you saying, fella? How did I walk out of there a free man, then? I don't think it was so much thanks to me as down to your planning. You're a straight-talking fella, aren't you? I must say, you had me astray in the head there once or twice. But you're young and headstrong, and 'tis water under a bridge. Congratulations, Mr. McGilded, on having your name cleared. But nothing's resolved. There's only one thing that matters to me. Oh? Aye. They've all seen that I didn't do that odious and obstinate deed. 'Tis grand, is it not? I suppose it is. Now the fine fellows of Scotland Yard can take matters in hand and sort out any wee details. They'll see it for what it is. They'll get to the truth. I have absolute faith in them, so I have. After all, I do be providing a good number of their wages with all the taxes I pay. Ha ha ha! It's not that funny. So then, as we agreed aforehand, 1,000 guineas for your troubles, fella. Oh, no, I couldn't possibly accept that much. I'd be whist. You're a humble people, are you? You from the east? Well, if you insist. But have this still and all. You deserve a reward. Mr. Magnus McGilded. Everything is ready, sir. If you'd like to follow me into the courtroom. Into the courtroom? What's this, officer? 'Tis sooner than I was led to believe. I hope it's not inconvenient, sir. There were some changes to the schedule. Well, I must be making tracks now. Tis time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. They're going to examine it again? Now? Naturally. I'm under no obligation to take part in any more of this matter now. But as an upstanding member of London society, I do be doing my best to help where I can. 'Tis a gentleman's duty, so it is. So then, fare thee well. 'Twas an absolute pleasure meeting yous. I hope you have a whale of a time while you're studying here in Great Britain. There he goes, a free man. Oh, I forgot she was here too. Don't move! Whereas I want to say, get a move on. She really does take forever to load that thing. Miss Lestrade, would you mind putting that thing down? You're a grown-up. Sorry. And I hate all grown-ups. Ah, there you are. Hello. Naughty naughty running off like that. Is this some kind of picnic? Who's this little girl now? Taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ha! Oh, do you want to play? You won't beat me. Excuse me, but who are you? Oh, good day to you. I'm, well, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. The inventor? Well, normal smoke grenades are so dull, don't you agree? White, white, and more white. If you have to be shrouded in smoke, it could at least be a pretty color, I thought to myself. Do we have to be shrouded in smoke, though? At all? I just took my eyes off it for a moment whilst I was changing onto a different omnibus, and she pinched it. Luckily, I fitted it with a telegraphic beacon. A what's it? What? I have no idea what this girl is talking about. Anyway, you're coming with me now. Back to my laboratory. What? What for? To apologize, of course, silly, to my technician. What? You mean, say sorry? You must say sorry when you've done something wrong. Surely an adult has told you that before. An adult? I don't listen to no adults. Come along then, follow me. Fine, have it your way. Oh good, you see, I knew you'd want to do the right thing in the end. Fairly sure that what she wants is not to get shot by that massive gun of yours. We'll be leaving now then. Bye-bye. I'm so sorry for all the fuss. She was a lively one. Well, do you think perhaps we ought to be on our way now too? Yes, you're right, but where to? Oh, we haven't had time to find a place to stay. No sooner had we arrived in London than we had to rush here. All our traveling cases are still with the bailiff. I was originally planning to spend today in search of lodgings, but at this late hour in the day, I'm afraid we may be out of luck. Don't worry though, I have a plan. If the worst comes to worst, I've heard of a lovely park where we could spend the night. Oh god. Please tell me you're not thinking of McGilded Park. I know it may be a little chilly at this time of year, but our youthfulness will see us through. I'm not so sure about that. I think a midwinter London night will freeze a young person's soul just as easily as an elderly one. Oh dear, that doesn't sound agreeable. Now I'm starting to regret turning Mr. McGilded down. That 1,000 guineas would have paid for a lovely warm room, or mansion. And so, the trial to determine my worthiness for the study tour was over by the end of our first day in London. However, as we were soon to learn, there were more trying times ahead. Just as the Reaper of the Bailey had warned, the case was far from over.
What's going on?
Get the fire brigade! Water! Bring water, quick! What the? How did this happen?
Oh
I
god.
don't know, sir. By the time I got here, it was already engulfed.
No one was supposed to be allowed in here before we started investigating.
Oh god.
No. Oh, good God. There's someone in there.
This can't be.
Who the fuck's in there? Who did Mr. McGilded put in there? The fuck? The Adventure of the Clouded Kokoro, which we are not doing tonight. Going back to the title screen. Oh god. Well, despite a few hiccups here and there, namely the that one moment where I was supposed to press her and the guy like chuckled. And he didn't do that the first time I did it, so I was going in circles trying to figure out what the hell I was doing wrong. That was annoying. But, oh, and the moment when my stream decided to just stop for some reason, and I didn't notice it, also annoying. But that one is outside the game, so I can't really fault the game for that. The only fault I had with this trial was that one moment with the pressing. But otherwise, this whole case, it was great, and then the end is really setting itself up for something. I mean, clearly it's something big, especially the ending there, where the whole carriage caught on fire and shit, but I am looking forward to more of this next week. So, I'm gonna have to move, again, I know I'm just kind of repeating myself from the beginning, or now as it's known, my previous stream, but I'm moving my Wednesday Ace Attorneys to Thursday, because I have Wednesday plans now, but I'm gonna keep going, we're gonna keep playing, and I'm gonna try to keep doing one chapter per stream for this, which it looks like they're all about 5 hours each, so it seems manageable. I mean, not in a YouTube video kind of way, but eh. Anyway, to anyone that dropped by, I thank you all for your support. I thank you all for just coming in, chatting, lurking, whatever it is. I totally appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Also, you know, anyone that kept the chat going, like Bougie Bourgeoisie, Kenny Kin, FML, X Gamer, Double Jumper, you guys are great. So yeah, I'll try to stream again soon, and until then, I hope you all take care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you next time.